Hello everybody and a very warm welcome to Crafters TV. My name's Ben Moseby, good to see you. Just gone 2 o'clock here in the UK, Bank Holiday Monday. Feels like a Sunday, but it's Bank Holiday Monday. Producer Johnny, he's on the show. He's I think his 75th day in a row, it feels like for him. He doesn't even know what day it is, what time it is, what his name is. But it's definitely Bank Holiday Monday here in the UK. VED as well today. So if you're having celebrations for that, hopefully you're enjoying. Hopefully making a bit of time for us as well. We are all about today helping you to craft your stash. So whether it be ink pads in this show you need a little bit of help and advice on, or indeed coming up later on tonight live at 5, glue school, then get ready to be with us because we are all about answering those questions. If you're new, you might be asking questions for the first time, or if you have been crafting for a little bit, you might still get confused when it comes to glues later on. So many different adhesives for so many different jobs, you might get a bit confused. You might forget what does what. Well, we aim to kind of get rid of all that confusion in that show. And in this show, going to be concentrating on all of the different ink pads that we've got. So from your quick dries to your opaques, from your opaques to your water reactives, to your Duet Inkpads, to your Finesse Inkpads, to your sticky Inkpads, to your Duet Colour Bloom Inkpads, to your... I mean, there's so many, all having like different jobs that they can do for you as far as crafting is concerned, but you may get a bit confused. I know Debbie has got a brilliant hour-long sort of tutorial lined up for you, and if we don't get any questions, then we'll have plenty of stuff to talk about. However, earlier today we did a show on scoreboards and we had tons of questions come in and we made the show all about you. So we answered all the questions. We did the demos that needed to be done. So feel free to get your questions in. The earlier you send in those questions, the better, because I will answer, well, Debbie will answer those in the order that they come in. So get them in now, get them in nice and early, and first come, first served on that. Before I say a few hellos to you guys at home, let's say hello. She's still getting organised, but we'll say hello. Let's say hello to the lovely Debbie, who's at the side of the studio, the Barnsley bombshell. Look at all, this is what I mean. This is why it can get confusing. Look at all the different ink pads. Oh, she's running off. There's so many different ink pads. I think she has them all there. Debbie, how are you, first of all?
Oh, it is. Trying to get all my ink pads because I wanted to make sure I covered every ink pad that we do, and I think I have. And I'm going to give you a quick visual so you can see all the different kind of ink pads, from watercolour to quick dry to opaque to pigment, Midas pigment, so the metallics, moving into the shimmer pigment, pearlescent pigment, moving into the gold series of the shimmer ink pads, moving into Duet Inkpads, where we then moved into Duet Inkpad Colour Bloom, which then we moved into Colour Bloom with shimmer, still a Duet Inkpad. Then we've got our, on this side is our Finesse Inkpads, which is the waterproof one, the alcohol proof one. Says exactly what it does on the tin and which colours you're going to be using and things that you need for those, and the watermark one. And I think, whew,
that's all of them.
I think that's all of them. That's a lot to cram in and talk about each individual one, and try and throw some techniques in there as well, and answer any of your questions that you've got that where. And I know from personal experience, ink pads over the years have often caused me an headache because I just don't know what it does. Why do you need that one? Aren't all pink pads the same? Don't they do the same job? Do they do? Well, it honestly became such a confusion that it does mess with you a little bit. However, Leanne and the Spectrum Noir team tried to simplify it in the simplest of ways in breaking them down into why these are different families of ink pads and why they all offer you a different job, but again will all work, some of them in harmony with each other, despite it being water reactive, despite it being quick dry and opaque. They work in harmony with each other in terms of the colours. So I'm going to try and cover all of your questions throughout this show, and including that, try and get some demos in there as well.
So let's say a few of those, open floor, as you said, right? We want as many questions as possible. We can go as simple as you want as well, right? We're not worried about that at all. Any questions, get them in. Carol Byrne says, good afternoon. Hope everyone is feeling good today. Big winner, Byrne. Trudy Bickham says, good morning, everyone. Hello. Hello also to Love to Create LC, who says hello again. Ben, Debbie, team and all. Louise Burton joins us. Lois says, hello, everyone from Ohio. Chantel Jones says, g'day from 2J, Australia. Ruth Miser is in. Hello, Ruth. And Colleen says, good morning all again. I'm looking forward to this show about ink pads. I'm on my spinning bike. whilst I watch. There we go. This will refresh my memory and teach me new, I am sure. I'm sure there'll be lots of refreshing going on today. Rhonda joins us saying, good morning, Ben, Debbie, team, social crew, and all my incredibly creative, crafty friends from Oak Park, Chicago. Teresa Rogers says, hi, Ben and Debbie, loving the shows today. Michelle Moore says, good morning, everyone from Queens in New York. Yeah, we are very much educational today. Don't forget, everything there for you on the website as well. So if you do see a particular style of ink pad that you want to try out, maybe you haven't used before, just search for it in the search bar on the website. And the majority of the goodies, I think, you will be able to find on the web. And hi to Karen, says, good afternoon, Ben and Debbie. I've just done the catch up on the scoreboards. Great information as always. Bookmark these shows. Bookmark today as the day that you know you can go back to for all the info on glue, all the info on ink pads, and all the info on scoreboards as well. And then we won't have that confusion 2 months down the line when we go, when was it again that Debbie did all those brilliant shows? Does anyone know? Oh, of course, so Doreen, we have writing it all in a notebook, so we can always ask Doreen. Patricia, finding Doreen. Patricia, I've got your first question, but let's get in with an overview with Debbie first of all, and then I'll start sort of peppering in the questions as we go. So Patricia, yours is first in, yours will be the first one that I ask, but let's have a look at some of them with you, Debbie.
Well, we're going to start right back at the very beginning when it first started in our ink pad family, which was our Water Reactive Inkpads. So they're called the Harmony range. They work in harmony with each other. You have colour families, so blocks of colour families like the yellows, which is straw bale, lemon tonic and honey pot. Thank you very much. Each individual ones, they come in like sets of 3. You can buy them individual. They'll work together as well. You get like all the sets that like the pales or the mediums or the darker colours. They do interact with each other. They're exactly what they say on the tin. They're water reactive. When you come up close, just want to have a little close. These are a man-made dye in a felt pad. So it's a dense felt pad that you're getting. So in terms of like when I compare it to, and I'm just bringing an opaque one, I think you can see the difference straight away. This is a felt pad. This is a sponge pad. So it's a soft, squidgy sponge. I'll talk about that more in depth in a second when we move over to those. But just so you know, this is a man-made dye. It's got transparency and see-throughness to it as well, because it's a man-made, and it's a dye. Liquid water ink, basically, is what's in there. It literally is that, and it reacts to water. Now, the lovely thing about it is that you can create ombre effects, but you can also have a lot of fun with them, and that's exactly what I'm going to do with all of these fabulous colours that I've got out. And I've gone really wacky with the colours.
Oh, you have.
I've gone lemon tonic, which is from the middle, like kind of section. Yeah. Spring meadow, which is like the pale section of the greens. Parakeet, which is like the dark. You've got fuchsia in the middle, crushed velvet in the middle. So they will
work together. What was the one
together.
before the crushed velvet?
Crushed velvet.
What was the one before that?
Fuchsia.
I'll just go back to the fuchsia,
Do you know, every time, every single time, you get me with this.
Sorry.
You do get me every single time. Now, you can use any kind of ink applicators. And the lovely thing about it is this, that you can go straight into your cardstock. None of that popping it onto your mat, picking it up, running into the cardstock. You just take your blending tool and you go straight in, literally straight in. So I am exactly going to do that. And I am going to, now then, bit of tissue, because obviously water reactive, if my hands are a bit hot and sweaty, will react to that. So I'm going to just make sure I've got a little bit of tissue while I'm holding it down. Intensity colour-wise, absolutely beautiful. And I mean beautiful. Let's go in with the green. Now, normally I wouldn't mix my pads. I would change them. However, what did I do with them? Where did I put them all? Did I put them under?
Where did you put?
It's all right. I've just put...
Whoa!
The studio set. Don't even ask me what a spoon's doing in there. Absolutely no idea why there is a spoon in there. But normally I have like the colours for each pad, but I'm just going to go straight in because they are washable. Can you see mucky finger marks straight off there? What am I like? What am I like? But I'm just going to go in and start mixing. When you want an ombre effect, you would start with the light to the medium to the dark, which we'll talk about. But I've got so much to cram into this show that I'm like, am I going to get it all in? That's what I'm debating. Am I going to get it all in? We're going to try anyway, aren't we? We're going to try. So
and this is always on watercolour cardstock, the best effects with the
best
water
effects,
reactives.
yeah, but you can go on to your, do you know, your normal card, like your multi-purpose card. You can go on to that as well. I'm going to slap it straight in. Let's get straight onto there. Let's slap all the colours down. And this is what I'm saying about not being afraid. And what I love is when you mix some colours, you get a different shade. Can you see the two there?
Yeah, look at that.
Mix of the pink with the lemon. Beautiful. Let me just take that one off and put
3
another one on.
questions in already, by the way.
Oh,
Thank you
love
for
it.
these.
Love it, love it. Let's go in with parakeet. You can get off there. And come in with the parakeet. And blend them.
Ooh,
Look how lovely they blend
now,
together. And if you do need to go back, you know, if you feel like it's a bit too harsh, you can take your other colour and you can go back in and just literally blend the two together.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep on doing that while, let me grab the next colour. You come off, you come off. Where's the purple? There it is. I've got a purple one in here. Let's just pop that there. Let's just slap another colour down. And again, straight on. I'm not afraid to take the blending brush and go straight into all these wonderful colours together, which you're probably thinking, oh God, it looks a bit of a mess at the minute. I promise you, looks stunning when you start to work these, and you'll see in a second. Now, is Liam in the back? Because I was just going to ask him, would he be able to fetch me Pine Tree? Because we haven't got a pine tree in the in the studio, and I want the pine tree in there. Because I'll show you the ombre effect as well. Because I am getting all inky-fied up. Is he? Is Greg? Is Greg still here? Yeah. Just go and ask.
What do you want? Pine tree water reactive?
Pine tree water reactive. Yes, please. If you could, that would be very kind of you. Thank you. I think I'll put a little bit of let's put a bit of parakeet in the centre as well. Let's go in and add a bit of parakeet into there. And now look, what you can see at the minute is all of these colours, a mishmash of colours, which you're probably thinking, crikey, that's like, yeah, exactly, like a Technicolor, what did you say, Johnny? Dream coat. Yeah, it is a little bit, isn't it? But just to show you not to be afraid to put colour down and a mixture of colours as well. And I will show you an ombre effect in a second.
A bit of glitter on it by the look of it.
Has it got some glitter? It'll do, it'll do. Thank you very much, because I'm going to show you in a second with those. So that's this is a really, really bright intensity of colour. I'm going to come back to that in a second. What I'm just going to show you on a smaller piece of cardstock, got one here. Let's go in with the colour family of the green. So I've got Spring Meadow, I've got Grasshopper. Have I put that there? Wait a minute. I've got 2 Spring Meadows. Debbie, what are you doing? I have. I've got 2 Spring Meadows, Grasshopper, and the Pine Tree with the glitter. Thank you very much. Right. So when you want to do an ombre effect, and again, bit of housekeeping, just get rid of let's just get a spritz of water. We'll come back to show you the water reactiveness in a moment. So, and I'm going to just clear up that because I don't want to get a different colour onto there. We'll start with the Spring Meadow. Nice bit. Again, take your applicator straight in and get the colour down. So first off, we're going with the light. So I'm kind of doing 2 for the price of 1 here because I've gone with lots of bright colours mixed together, which you can see under my pot. So that's the first colour that I'm going down with. The ombre effect next would be the next secondary colour, which is Grasshopper. So we'll go in with Grasshopper. And again, we're just going to go straight in and mix the 2 colours. You can see I've got a little bit here on with my fingers. It's absolutely fine because I can kind of blend that out. But just to show you how you get that lovely ombre effect between all 3 colours. Yeah. So that's your Spring Meadow, moving up to the Grasshopper, so that mid-tone of the green. And then I always go back with the lightest colour. This is when, if you are going in with, look, that's got the Spring Meadow one. We'll go back into that one.
I'll ask this question. We've got 8 questions now, but this one I can ask you.
Oh my goodness, how many?
8.
Wow.
Rhonda says, do you always need a different pad for each and every colour and type of ink pad?
Do I have what, sorry?
Do you need to have a different pad for each and every colour and type of ink pad?
You could, these wash, they wash. They'll stain, but they'll wash. You don't have to. If you can't stretch to it, do not fret. You do not need it. It's nice to have it. Don't get me wrong. It's nice to have that. But I am aware that, you know, there's usually 10 in a pack. Not too bad, I don't think. Not too bad. But I am aware that that can be quite, especially with in the range of the water reactive and the quick dry and the opaque. There's like 36, I believe, if I remember rightly, in that family, which is quite a lot.
That's a lot of pads, isn't it?
It's like 3, 4 pads, isn't it? So you can, but I do put mine, as just as Johnny has said, I have got a little laundry bag. Do you know where you put socks and things that you don't want to get out into your washing machine?
Oh, yeah.
So I've got a little laundry bag, and every now and again, I put all of them in there and wash them. And they come out. Now, they stay stained, but they're taking the excess ink off, and I can reuse them.
Yeah.
And I can reuse them. So now I've got me, can you see here, light, medium, dark. I want to blend that, so I'm going back into that medium, so which is the grasshopper. And I'm going to just blend the two together. Absolutely beautiful blend. And that is your ombre effect from your light, medium, dark. Now, the water reactive side to it, I'm just going to make sure I put that on the right way. There we go. That one. Let me get those out of the way. Side by side, lots of ombre effects, and then the mix-match of colour. Now, what I do, and to show you how this works with water reactive, is I get some water.
Can I just preempt another thing here?
Of course you can.
So someone has asked, I think it was Ruth, was asking at some point, and you might be able to do this later on. So I know you're going to show how to use the water with the water reactives. She wants to do a comparison of what the water effect looks like on those alongside a Duet Inkpad. So I don't know if you could do that next, just to show the comparison.
A Duet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alongside the water reactive, because she wants to see what the difference looks like.
They're more chalkier colour.
Okay.
And with a Duet Inkpad, it's like a two-in-one ink. Isn't that what we call an hybrid ink?
Yeah.
And the difference there, and I'll show you, because obviously the different colours, the harmony colours in the the water reactive, the quick dry and the opaque, all the same colour families. So like your lemon tonic and your straw bale and your honey pot is in water reactive, it's in quick dry, it's in opaque.
Yeah.
The extra one that you get in the opaque is the white, which is the extra additional ink pad. But the Duet Inkpads, they're a two ink dye with a water reactive ink in there. They're different colours, and so you get different looks. You won't get the same colour family in there. But I will show you. I can do a comparison for you so you can see that in a second.
Cool.
Now, I've just left a bit of water on there. I've just splashed a bit down. You can take it your fingers. I think my water's filthy. I don't know what's been in that pot. So I'm just debating what's going to come up when I lift that off. Well, it is water because I put it in from the bottle, but I don't know what's been in this pot.
Soup?
It looks red. No idea. And then just take your tissue over the top. I'm going to grab another piece of tissue for the other side because the effect that you get with the water reactive, just beautiful. But I will show you, and we'll do that in a second with the Duet Inkpads as well.
Here we go.
You lift that off,
Ooh,
you get that lovely, and it is a lovely effect. And then you can start playing around. What I did here when I made this was the pink family. So it's pale
fig.
Thank you. Fuchsia. Wait a minute, it's not pale fig. That's the purple family. It's pink tulip. Thank you.
Tulip.
Pink tulip, fuchsia, and plum jam.
Right.
And that's the same effect that this was done. And then I just took some silhouette stamps and literally picked out a little bit of water out of there and just recoloured it back in, because you can paint with them as well.
Yeah.
And then background-wise, you can see the two that I've got there.
Ooh,
I mean, I love making backgrounds, so this is me making backgrounds. Cool. And when I say make backgrounds, from ombre effects to a mix of colour, lots of lovely effects that you can get when you are using the water reactive colours, which I absolutely love.
I know I said I'll ask questions as they came in. I will ask all the questions, but there's a couple that have just sort of come in, which time is what we're doing here.
Yep.
So the water splash effect that you've just done.
For bleaching.
Daisy's asked, can we do that effect with all the different water inks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And Rhonda says, this is a question I always think of, Rhonda, so well done. Do you need to change the pads between the types of ink also? So say if you've got a pad for your honey pot in your water reactive, do you need then to have a different pad for the honey pot in the quick dry and then in the opaque?
I personally do.
Right.
I personally do, because they're different inks. So quick dry, obviously, instantly dry. It still reacts to water, and I will show you. But yeah, I personally have, so I've got a set of finger daubers. I think I've mentioned this before, where I have a set of finger daubers for water reactive, set of finger daubers for my quick dry, set of finger daubers for my opaque, and then I have I've got two sets, because obviously now the extension of the family of the rest of the ink pads, there's more than 40. So I have got two sets that I use for my Shimmer, my Midas, and also my Duets and the shimmer and the colour bloom. So I have those there because they are different. So if you can stretch to that, then definitely worth doing that. But now, do you want me to do the hybrid ink? Can I get ready to do just that, the duet? Because you've asked
so then
that
we can do the comparison.
I'll get ready for that. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me just have a second just to get that ready.
Whilst you're getting ready, we can say hello to other people joining us. Doreen is with us. Hello, Daisy says, hi, CC. Looking forward to learning how to stop smearing my outlines. Patricia Day says, what ink pads will be suitable for embossing powders? We'll come on to that a little bit later on, Patricia, don't worry. We'd also like to say hi to Stephanie Theodos, who says, good morning, Ben, Debbie team and friends from Farmingdale, New Jersey. Happy to be viewing the second show of the day. I did forget to comment earlier on. We've still got other questions coming through. We will answer those as we go. But as I say, get those questions in. If you want to preempt the show tonight, by the way, 5 o'clock, we have got Glue School. So you can ask all those questions later on, or indeed get those in early and we can compile them in that show. But we'll be tackling all of your liquid glues, all of your tape pens, all of the things like red liner tape as well. We'll go through it all for you a little bit later on. So that is tonight at 5 o'clock. And keep those questions coming. There's some really good ones coming through, actually. But we'll have a look. So this is for Ruth. I was wanting to see like the comparison effect that you can get between, say, if you're doing like your water effects with your water reactive ink pads, to how they're going to look when you do it with your Duet ink pads. And as you said, Debbie, again, the colours that you get in your Duets are different to the colours that you get.
They're completely different. Yeah, and I've just put an array of colours out here so you can see them. Whereas an Army ink pad has got like 3 colourways in each family, these are our Duet ink pads where you've got like some shades of purple, you've got like your warmer tone colours here and your yellows, your reds, virgin into pinks and oranges, and your greens, if we just put those there for a second. And then I think there is a couple of purple. In fact, let me get them that way so you can see them. That looks about right, doesn't it? Yeah, purples, blues, greens, yellows. So I'm just going to put them all out there so you can see. Now, there is 12 in this collection, so you get 12 of them. That's all 12 of them. This is the Duet ink pad, which is the dye-based ink with the water reactive colour as well, so the water-based ink-based as well. And again, the pad is virgin, like on a felt pad. So you've got that, again, you can see the difference, and I'll bring this one in again just so you can see it. Spongy, squishy. This is more of a felt pad as well on there, okay? Now, the difference there is obviously ombre effects, a bit more trickier with an ombre effect, but you can still use all the colours. But the trick to this, and I'm hoping I'm plugged in, let me just check, is you dry between each stage. Yes, I'm plugged in. Whew, whew. Let's grab... I wonder if we could ask nicely if I could have like a new set of these, because we don't have a set for our Duet ink pads, just for some rectangular ones, and I've just wet this through like a turnip.
They're in the drawer out there, aren't they?
Are they in the drawer? I'm just going to dry that off for a second because I've wet that. Let me just give that a little dry. There we go. So I'm going to slap a few colours down onto there. Again, slap. That's a technical term that Debbie's using today. Beautiful colours. They are stunning colours. And again, I'm just going to pick up a little bit onto there, and you can go straight in. You can take this, again, directly onto your water reactive if you want. But again, for blending, I prefer to go straight in. I also, as well, I like to use it onto my mat, wet it with some water and then pick it up that way as well. But so there's a couple of ways you can use them. There's lots of different ways that you can use them. Thank you very much.
I've got your spare one of those.
Oh, thank you. That's perfect. Thank you. I've been a bit messy and heavy-handed again because guess what? I get very inky when I start doing anything to do with inks. Thank you very much there. But yeah, so there's a couple of ways that you can lay a colour down. In fact, you know what I am going to do? I'm going to do that for you. Yeah. Let me grab a spritzer. Was that you again, Ben?
What? Johnny's like, always has to be in, doesn't he? Always has to be in.
So I'm going to spritz. Where's my spritzer bottle gone? Let's just put a little teeny-weeny bit of water down and pick up a bit of colour.
Why is the Duet called the Duet, says Patricia?
Because of the 2 inks that are in there, yeah. Very good question, though, again. I'll just tell you what, I'll just do a couple of colours with this one. The trick to this is make sure you dry the layers. So I'm just going to dry the layer. Yeah. So again, let's just pop that down of colour. And I'm just going to speed this up a bit. So I'll just speed that round. There we go. Yep, that looks okay. I wouldn't normally do that, so please don't come for me, will you? Let's put down another contrasting... Oh, I tell you what, shall we have blue? In fact, we might have all 3. Let's go down with the blue. Again, you can take it directly on if you want to, but I want to just show you a glass mat's a good tool to have. Also, a good tool to have is a craft mat.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this is a good example. Can you see into the pink? Normally when you start building colour up, you get like a bit of a muddy kind of look. Now, I don't want that.
No.
Trick there is, of course, drying your
Dry.
stages.
Yeah.
Go in there. I'm going to try that really quickly. In fact, might just speed that drying process up. What I love, can you see the blue over the pink?
Yeah.
I ain't lost that blue.
No.
I ain't lost anything from the pink. I just love. I was talking to that lovely lady, I can't remember her name, I wish I could remember her name now, she told me her name as well, talking about our ink pads, and she asked me what my favourite ones were. Now, a long time ago, we only had Water Reactive, and I used to say Water Reactive, still love them, they're still my favourites. Not anymore.
No.
There's a new kid on the block, and
These
it's
ones.
the Duet Inkpads
Those are
and
Leanne's
the colour
as well.
blooms. Is it Leanne's as well? I love them.
In good company there.
Absolutely adore them. I love what the effects that you can create, and I love this where colours can sit on top of colour. I had one more colour as well.
She says, you know, if you are new, I know we've got new viewers watching all the time, if there's one pad that she could recommend to people who haven't got any ink pads, it would be the Duet, because she says you can do a lot of different things.
Yeah, so much more, yeah, absolutely. I think that's why I would agree with her on that one, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, I would never not agree anything that Leanne said anyway, but just saying, you know, yeah, it's true. There's so much you can do. I remember going to Chesterfield at the time and teaching a class on there.
Oh, yeah.
What colour shall we put down? Shall we have a yellow?
Oh, yeah, why not?
Shall we have sunglow, or shall we have... Well, let's go yellow.
Yellow.
Beautiful yellow. I'm going to just spritz a bit of water down, and I'm going to go straight in and pick up. Oh, yes.
Look at this.
Yes.
Coming together.
Love a
Julie
bit
says,
of
how
colour
many different
together.
sets are there? There's 12 of the
There's 12
Duets,
of the
isn't there?
Duet Inkpad colour.
Yeah.
There's 36 in Water Reactive, 36 in Quick Dry, 37 in Opaque.
Okay, because you've got the white.
There are 4 colours in each Finesse.
Yeah.
So the waterproof is 4 colours. There's 4 in the alcohol. There's 1 watermark ink pad, translucent clear, which we'll talk about as well. I love that. That looks really
pretty.
effective.
Yeah.
But also, again, it's still water reactive. You've been able to layer colour on top of colour. But again, if I just show you the difference between the two, I think you can see there's a bit of a difference. More of a chalk. Shall we go chalky? Shall we say chalky?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, a little bit chalkier looking, what you get from those. But again, you can still... Oh, I'm going to have to ask for a pot of clean water. This water's driving me nuts in.
Do you want me to get you some water?
It's filthy, Ben. I don't know what's in this bowl.
I don't know.
I'm going in with water. I don't even want to contemplate what's going in there.
Okay.
So again, we'll just splash bits of water down because it's still water reactive.
Yes.
The difference here is it doesn't dry straight away because obviously I'm having to force the drying stage, but you can add clear embossing powder to it, so you can then create an embossed look. I think I've got enough water down there, Debbie. Stop. Let me just move all these ink pads. I'm going to let that soak in just for a second and let that work.
And so far, what you've shown us, we've been on watercolour cardstock, haven't we?
This is on Water Reactive,
Yeah.
but you can go on to your regular. Cardstock, white cardstock with this. Why won't you Why will that... Oh, that's why, Debbie.
What do you like?
What am I like? It didn't have the base. I'm thinking it's not standing on top of each other. I don't know why it's not standing on top. There we go. Let's move that out of the way. Then I'm going to take my tissue. Let's grab a tissue again, and let's go in, and then lift, and you'll see again that water reactiveness to it.
Ah, yes.
Now, I don't know if you can see, but the difference here...
Yeah, let's have a look side by side.
Well, just for example, you can see the colour.
Yeah.
But with a Duet, you get a white.
It draws it out.
So it strips it right back.
Yeah.
And that's because of that two mixed... Again, don't ask me how. I'm not the chemist in the building. I always say I don't know how they work it, how it works, but you can see the difference that you get is more of a... I mean, that looks like I've bleached it with bleach. Whereas that is just given that faded kind of look. And again, this one's a good one because it's more of a secondary colour underneath. It's like, can you see the pink and purple tones?
Yeah.
And the blue tones under there and the green tones under there, whereas that stripped back to like a white. So that's a good example of showing you side by side. But both beautiful ink pads, let me just tell you right now, both gorgeous ink pads. But yeah, you can create and build up colour that you don't lose the colour.
Yes.
What I'm trying to say is it doesn't get modified or when you layer colour on top of colour. If you've done that drying stage in between each one, you can build up your colours and create the most beautiful effects with it. And I love our Duet Inkpads for that reason.
Can I fire through a few different questions with you here? Because there's literally tons and tons of questions coming through. So Trudy's question, not about how many different Duet Inkpads. So how many sets of different inkpad ranges are there then? So can we count those? So there's
Water Reactive, Quick Dry, Opaque, Midas, which are metallics, and we've got a range in there, loads of colours in there. Then we had Pearlescent, Shimmer, and the Gold series.
6.
Do we count that as 6? Yeah, because it was 2 separate ones.
Yeah.
Then we've got Duet, the originals. Then we've got Colour Bloom, which is the Duet Inkpad, but Colour Bloom, which is the 2 different colours in the Inkpad. And then we've got the Duet Colour Bloom with Shimmer. So there's added Shimmer in there, which is 9. And then you've got your Finesse,
10.
Your range, and your Watermark, which is your sticky. Yeah, about 11. Yeah.
Oh, well, there's so many questions. Will the duets blend if you don't dry between each? Laurie says, will the duets blend if you don't dry between?
So if you leave it wet, shall we do it?
Try.
Shall we do it? Let's put, where we going? Go back to duet. I'll bring sweet clementine. We'll have a vintage, a rosé. We'll have a different one. And let's go for a nice dark waterfall. There we go.
And is it best to let the inks mix with water dry naturally, or do you always use a heat gun to force dry?
I always use a heat tool because it just takes seconds waiting for it to dry naturally. You could be waiting a while. So that's for me, that's why. So let's just go in and we'll leave it all wet. So let's go in with, let's do a little bit of each. In fact, I might even go darker. Oh, I love that one. That's a gorgeous one, that one. It's absolutely stunning. Was that one? There we go. Let's get the rosy apple down as well. Oh, yes. That's a nice one. Should we do one more?
Yeah, why not?
Do you have a green in there?
Greeny.
Let's go green. There we go. Let's put that down. Let's spritz a bit of water. What have I done with my spritzer top? Hang on a minute. Oh, you took that off. There we go. Spritz. Let's put that back down. Let's spritz. Spritz, spritz, spritz. There we go. And let's just pick up colour upon colour upon colour, because I think that's what you're asking, isn't it? So I'm going in with all colour. You're going to see it now. Can you already see what's happening? Now, if I was to compare that with what I've just done, what would you say, Ben? You would dry each stage because what's happened?
It's gone muddy.
Puddled and muddy. So it is, what a good question that was, and what a good way of showing you. You can see it. It's muddied.
Muddy puddle.
If you separate it and dry it off at each stage, you get bright, vivid colour. If you do it all in one, I'm not going to lie, Debs, that's a bit of a mess. And I would not be using that. So that's a great question, because that is what not to do with your Duet Inkpads. Who asked that question?
Oh, now you're asking me. That was Laurie.
Laurie, what a fantastic question. I think I've just proved to you why you wouldn't do that, and why you would, the importance of drying in between each day. Leanne doesn't say these things for a reason, you know. No. She's got a method behind each thing she says, and it's because we want to give you the best results, and that's why you dry in between that stage, because that, it's in the bin, whereas that, I'm going to use for something else.
Now, I don't know what your next plan of going on to was, but there's a couple of questions that you can answer quite quickly with the opaque Inkpads.
Well, we're going to move to the quick dry, because I'm going to do it in, if I can, and I'll come to the opaque. But what was the? Have you got the question ready?
So I rarely use my opaque Inkpads. Can you give me a few pointers, please? Was one question, and there was another question that I have just lost here.
Well, the opaque pigment, it's the natural pigment. So the water reactive and the quick dry are man-made. It's a natural pigment that's in there, so you get a different look altogether. You'll hear Debbie talk about them all the time because she absolutely loves the pigment ink pads. I'll come to them in a second. I think I'll just going to quickly touch on the quick dry, if that's okay. I'm just going to get them ready and quickly talk about that and show you very quickly why we've got the quick dry in our collection.
So yeah, we'll come on to that question then from you, Catherine, about opaques, and also Patricia, your question about which ink pad is best for embossing powders. That will be covered in when Debbie gets onto the opaque pigment ink pads. So, because that's, I don't like to give away the answer, you know. That's what you're going to find out when Debbie shows you those in just a little while. So stay tuned. But we are going to come on to the quick dries in just a second. Thank you, Ben, says Laurie. You got it right. And thank you, Debbie, for demoing my question. And thank you, says Trudy, that you explained my query perfectly. Listen, that's what we're here for. You know, that's why you keep coming back. That's why you love us, because we are here. We are interactive. We are live. That's these crafty stash shows are all about getting you to make sure that you can craft with your stash. I mean, for goodness sake, the amount of stash that probably a lot of you have got, let's make sure that you can use it correctly and get the very best out of it. So keep firing those questions in. Anything you want to know, we'll do our very best to get those questions answered. But hopefully, what Debbie's doing over the course of this show is kind of answering lots of questions which might come in. So we're sort of preempting the questions which we think will come in and demoing them as we go. And just a reminder, don't forget tonight from 5 o'clock UK time, so that is midday Eastern, 9 AM Pacific, we will be doing a glue score. Now that is always a very, very popular one. So if you've got any questions at all on any adhesives you're not quite sure about, get ready to ask those questions, because I think the floor will be very busy with questions for that one. Right, so we're going to have a look at quick dries now, Debbie.
Yes, so we've moved from Water Reactive, which are a slow drying ink, which is why you can add, you'll hear Craig talk about stamping with them, and you can still emboss with those as well. You can add your embossing powder to the Water Reactive ones, but it's a slower attack because it means that you can move it, you move them around a little bit more. That's why you get that blend, because of the longer open time. Not with this. Because this is quick dry, so this is completely different. It's still a man-made dye that you're getting in here, and this time though you've got this dense foam pad, so I don't know if you can see, it's completely different to what we've just seen with the felt pad of the Water Reactive and of the Duet Inkpads. So you can see it's a very spongy still, but it's a dense foam, but it applies, oops, not dry when it's on your fingers, can I just say? Dry when it hits that porous, porous. That's the right way around, isn't it? Non-porous, porous. I always get my porous and non-porous mixed up. Quick dry, perfect for smudge-free, because if you're using sentiments, these are the ones that I go to, because I don't get any smudge because it's dried like that the minute you put it down. Perfect for all of your layering as well, so layering stamps, which is what I've done with this. I've got the colour family here of the pinks. So I'm going to start with, and I've got my butterfly. It's a very old one, this. So, but we do lots of stamps that layer, and I'm just going to pop that down to pick up, and then I'll layer that on the top. I just want to pop that down to get myself started. So I'm going to start with the lightest of, the colour. And I'm just going to literally take that across. And then when you pop that down, you'll get the first light layer of colour. But what you get is nothing's shifting, nothing's moving. Now, because I've left a bit of a space there, I can go back and re-ink that, because it is a solid stamp, so sometimes solid stamps you miss areas, but if you've got the right stamping platforms, you're absolutely fine to go over. I have noticed that ink pad has got a little bit of gilding flakes in there. What's going off there? Wonder who that was. Gilding flakes into the pink tulip. I wonder who that could be. Yes.
Who was it?
But was it you?
No.
Are you sure?
Gilding flakes on what?
On an ink pad?
No. I got the no.
Oh, go on then,
I got the gilding flakes on this over here.
What have you done over there? Oh, is that why you've kept that over there?
Yeah. Oh, Sarah used gilding flakes the other day.
Did she now then?
Sarah.
We'll blame Sarah. I'm going to go in with the second one. Now, can you see, because I've got it on my fingers, said to you that it's wet on your fingers, so I've made a smudgy mess there. What I'm saying here is when you layer that down, as long as you've got no ink on your fingers, you're absolutely fine. I'm just going to layer that on the top so I can show you what I mean by the, again, the layering, the crispness, not Christmas, Debbie, crispness of that. So I'm going to pick up the secondary one, and I'm going to add the secondary colour, which is the fuchsia. Beautiful.
So, a few people asking about the quick dries. So you couldn't do like your water spritzing with this, could you at all? Oh, you could?
Yes, you can.
There you go.
Yes, you can, and I'll show you, just so you can see again. What I'm just going to do before I actually stick that down is just wipe my hands, because I am covered. And I don't want to rub it across, and then you see it smear, and then going, that's not quite dry, Debbie. But it is, because it's on my fingers. It's on my fingers. But again, when you go straight in, nothing. Nothing's moving.
Yeah.
Because it is instantly dry, and I am really rubbing at that. Now, third layer, and I'm going to go in with the third one, would be the more detailed one. You could use a black to make that really stand out, or I'm just going to go in with the third colour of that family. I'm just going to line that up over the top. Let's just make sure I've got that covered, and then pick that up, and then I'm going to pick that up, Debbie, and then I'm going to stick the plum jam, which is the deepest of that family. And this is what's going to add the detail. But again, all of it, it's wet while it's still on the stamp. The minute it contacts that paper, I'm just going to try and make sure I've covered all of that. Nothing. Doesn't shift. It doesn't move. I can literally, just to show you, nothing is coming off. It is so quick. It's like instantly dry. And then you've got your beautiful butterfly done, instantly ready to then create into cards, which is this card that I've done here using my butterflies. And I know for a fact that nothing's shifting. When I've put that down, nothing is making that move. It is that quick. Now, who asked the question about the... Can you do the water spritz and stuff like that?
Oh, now you're asking me. There's so many questions, Debbie.
Well,
a couple
shall
of
I do it
general
very quickly?
questions.
Shall I do it very quickly just to show you? You can do that again, so you could still take that onto... Oh, my God. When I say don't put a lot, Lord in heaven, these are so juicy. They are so juicy.
What is that, a quick dry?
This is a quick dry, but you can still paint. You can still... Oh, look at the intensity. Look at that. Oh my life. And I'm using, this is just normal cardstock, but again, it's practically instantly dry. I mean, seriously, look at that.
Wow.
That is, and then again, you can take and you can paint with it as well, so you can go in and you can paint with them. So it's still water reactive.
But once that's on the card, can you now then spritz that on the cardstock?
Right, now I should have used water reactive, not water reactive, I should have used watercolour cardstock, but I haven't. But let's do it. Let's do it. Did we get some water brought in? Did anybody bring me some water in? Because I'm going to end up mucking everything up here. And then you can see the difference. I can see this difference straight away. Because it is still a dye. This is a man-made dye. But I think you can see quite quickly. And even though I'm putting it down, it's almost drying instantly the minute the water contacts. So, yes, you can still do it, but you'll not get the same results. No. You will not get the same results. So, again, let's just bring in the water reactive. So, can you see the splashes are on there? And it has lifted, but it hasn't lifted the way that the water reactive would, because that's a quick dry ink. So, it's a different makeup of ink. Even though it's still water-based, you don't get that same kind of look. You still do it. There's nothing to stop you from doing it. But this is why all of these ink pads have a place in your life. They have a place in your craft room, and they have a place when you're wanting to get different results. Water reactive, hybrid. That will get that look. Quick dry, instant quick dryness. The minute the ink hits the cardstock. But still, we did that there. We still were able to do it, but it doesn't give you the same result. So I hope that answered that side of it.
What are you going on to next?
I will go on to the opaque. I just need a couple of seconds just to get myself sorted, because I've literally started chucking things around now and getting really messy.
Judy says, I didn't know that quick dry ink was water reactive. To be honest, I haven't seen that before either, but obviously it gives you a different look, and not... If you wanted to get the cool water reactive effects that Debbie showed you, you want the real water reactive ink pads, don't you? If you want to get the very best. I suppose in a way it's a little bit like our cardstock. When you think of, you know, if you want to do watercolour, then you're going to get our watercolour cardstock. If you want to do alcohol colouring, you want to get our alcohol cardstock. But then you do have our standard cardstock, which will work as a bit of a go-between. So they each all have their sort of superpowers, but can each do a little bit of the other jobs as well, if you like. Oh, there's so many questions coming through.
Oh, bless you.
So we're going to come on to talk about opaque inkpads now. So people asking about blending with those, people asking about heat embossing with those.
Yep.
Just a couple of quick questions which you might be able to answer without demo. So Trudy says, what type of ink would be best to colour in artificial flowers? Like white, like sort of artificial flowers. I mean,
Water Reactive will work, yeah. To be fair, any ink pad would work. With artificial flowers, do you mean like ready-made flowers?
Yeah,
is that what you're meaning?
But pens would probably be.
Pens, yeah, you could use a pen. But if you're talking inks, I've coloured my paper flowers in with our Water Reactive. I've taken like a brush and gone over the edges of those. Our foam flowers, you know, we make our own foam flowers. I'm sorry, I'm looking for cleaning wipes. There's not even any cleaning wipes under here. My hands are getting absolutely filthy, so I could just do with some cleaning wipes if I can. But yeah, go onto the edge of like ready-made flowers and things like that. Any of the inks would work. Duet would work nicely. Quick dry, no, I probably wouldn't do it with a quick dry, because the minute it goes onto that cardstock, it's instantly dry, which means you can't move it. So with a Water Reactive or an opaque, you can blend it a bit better. So I would steer away from the quick dry when you're adding that ink to those flowers, but just the others will be fine.
And one quick question, and what we'll do in a second, we'll just have a break so we can just get a few bits and pieces together. We'll go a little bit longer than the hour if we have to get everything in. But Pat's is saying, what's the difference between quick dry and finesse? And what papers are best to use with them?
Very, very good question. So quick dry, instantly dry. Finesse is completely different. Finesse is I want you to, because they're all Harmony ink pads. Yeah. Finesse is what you need to get non-smear when you're using a water-based medium, and a non-smear when you are using a Finesse alcohol-based. And I will show you why the difference with these two. I'm going to cross over with these, and I will show you why you need those. And if you're using anything water-based and you want to stamp with and you want to create water effects without it smearing, you are always going to reach for that. You will not, I repeat, not use that with any water-based medium, because you will get bleeding, smearing, smudging. That is for anything water-based. So all of our inks, they're water-based. That's the one you would use. That's the one that you'd stamp with. If you were painting with them, that's the one you would use every single time.
Right, so when we come back, we're going to look at the Opaque Pigment Inkpads. We'll answer any more of your questions as well. If we need to run slightly longer than the hour, we will. But we'll have a short break now. Just give time for Debbie to get the bits and pieces that she needs. And we will come right back. So, yeah, we'll see you at about 4 minutes' time.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters' companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty program today and receive 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits to joining Club Inspire include special members-only sales, and you can receive discounts or exclusive access to products, and even free gifts. You will receive 1 point for every pound, dollar or euro that you spend. And the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. See if you can craft your way up to our ultimate Club Inspire tier, Platinum, where you'll enjoy the very best discounts and rewards that we offer. As you keep climbing through the club, you can actually reach Platinum Plus and even Platinum for life. The more points you collect, the more you will be rewarded within our amazing special Club Inspire community. So, what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Hi everybody, this is Lynn Bledsoe. You asked me why I like or I love Crafter's Companion. Well, it's because I'm not a very good crafter, and Crafter's Companion makes me look better. It makes me look like a better crafter than I am, because I'm not good at design. So I have the layout collection that helps me with design. I don't like to do the same thing over and over. So I have a template library that gives me lots of new ideas and card bases and things to try. I never know what to put on the inside of the card, so I have the compendiums that have all the sayings for cards, and I never know what color combinations to put together and what goes with what, and so all their collections make it easy for me to know what to do. So that is why I love Crafter's Companion, because they make me look like a better crafter and give me ways to do things that I haven't tried before. Thanks, bye.
Missed your favourite Crafters TV shows this week? Feel like you've missed out on the best crafting deals? Don't worry, we've got you covered. Join us for Second Chance Sunday, your ultimate catch-up on the top 10 deals, demos and must-see moments from the past week. From incredible discounts to inspiring crafting, this is your second chance to grab the best of the best. But hurry, these deals won't last long. Tune in to Second Chance Sunday, only on Crafters TV. Because every crafter deserves a second chance. You do know this isn't a real door, don't you?
Of course, then we'll do it next. Opaque.
Welcome back, everybody. These are fantabulous shows, says Lady Diver. Thank you so very much for doing these. You're welcome, and you know that's what we're here for. At the end of the day, you know we're here to bring you the products, but we're also here to make sure that you can use all those products in the best possible way. Daisy Wrench says, there is my smear answer. Darn it, I don't have Finesse. Ha, literally. I'm sure you do. And if you want to get these pads, again, check the website for those. Right, so we are going to come on to Pigment Inkpads. We'll have a look through these. A few people asking about blending, a few people asking about heat embossing, which I know Debbie will tackle with you, and then any more questions we can sort of wrap up with afterwards. So, Pigment Inkpads, Debbie, what were you using these for?
Yes, so Pigment Inkpads. Now this is what I talked about being a natural pigment. You know, I've talked about the first two, and hybrid really, to be fair, the Duet Inkpads are all man-made. This is a natural pigment, perfect for blending. I'll show you the blending, and I've got a colour family again. Perfect for heat embossing. So anybody who wants to add like a clear embossing powder onto a colour, these are the ones, because they are open for a very long time. They don't dry instantly. So you wouldn't be able to do this with your quick dry inks, as I've proven just by showing you that it's dried instantly. So you can't add anything like that to it, which is why, again, the Opaque Pigment Inkpads would live in your stash. I'm just going to bring in just for a second a close-up so you can see that soft squidgy foam again. It's like in fact this is a sponge. This is not a foam. The quick dry is a foam, a squidgy foam. The Water Reactive and the Duet, that is an actual felt pad. Yeah. This is a soft, squishy sponge. They're light fast, it's not going to fade, so these are fabulous for that because of that natural pigment. And they're sticky. So, and you can feel it. If you put your finger in that, you will feel the stickiness on your finger. Which Debbie's just done again, and it's all over her nail now. Matches her nails though, so it's okay. It's like a natural occurring substance. You know when you talk about artist materials that are pigment, that's what this is. That's exactly what this is. Now, coming into using it, I love doing this technique. Now, you'll have to excuse my airy bits. Oh. Oh, we're doing so well, I'm so sorry. I meant the airy bits on my sticky tape that I put down, but I detacked my tape on my cardigan and it left it with all airy bits all over it. So
there's the tip of the day for you, everybody. There's the tip of the day. Just watch your hairy bits, yeah?
Because I put it down and I was like, what's all those airy bits? Please don't, it's from my cardigan. Can I just say it's from my cardigan before we get anybody emailing in? Literally, these are going to be gorgeous for layering up again as well, and also for embossing. I'm so sorry, I was doing so well. I was doing so well, Johnny. You'd be proud of me. Proud of me. So I've just put two rather airy, strippy tapes just there. Because I want to segment this little strip here.
Apparently they thought you said hairy pits in the comments. Rhonda thought you said hairy pits, apparently. Yeah.
Our low-tack tape's good. It's not that good. It ain't going to de-air anything. Let me just tell you now.
Not like your iMac or whatever it is.
Oh, my God. Oh, dear.
Oh, Debbie, what you like?
unravel there very fast.
Hey, we've been very professional today. Up to
I've
that point.
been very professional, darling. I have been really professional. Now you can see the wetness of this. It's still very wet on there, which allows me to add that next clear embossing powder. But before I do, I'm going in with the second colour, sorry. I've got 3 colours lined up here. And you can blend these. So again, to blend them, because they stay wet for long, you can get a lovely little seamless blend between the two. And then I'm going to go in with the darkest of those. So I'm using my finger daubers for this, and I hope I've got a nice deep pink one. No, it's missing. Oh, we'll have to improvise.
Okay.
We'll improvise. Probably use that. Oh no, it's there. That'll do. That's the one. Whew. And then I'm going to come in and add this one to it as well. And again, lovely sponge which enables you to pick up quite a nice bit, and again get a lovely bit of a seamless blend going off there between those 3 colours of that colourway family in harmony as well. These are all the same colours that you'll find in the Water Reactive. What I'm just going to do now is I'll just put those onto the top just for a second, just to move those out of the way. But I've got my clear embossing powder. I'm just going to grab a bit of tissue to stick underneath. In fact, you know what I will do? Let's see if I can get that off. I think I'll take the tape off first, so I'm not going to get any... Yeah, I'll just take that tape off. Oops, I didn't tack it too well, but never mind, hey-ho. It's just a demonstration, just to show you. I probably needed to de-tack that a little bit more, because I can feel it's quite... Yeah, I'll just do it. I'll do it gently. Do it gently, Debbie, she says. No, I can't be bothered with that. Let's get it off quick. Let's get it off quick. And then... And then I'm just going to add my clear embossing powder over the top.
Yeah, so this is just your clear embossing powder, yeah?
Yeah, clear embossing powder. Let's pour that straight back in.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to get my brush, because I have got a little bit of an excess just on there. So I'm just going to get a little bit of a brush to clear that off. But again, you'll see, this is just to take the excess off there. Heat embossing now, you can just take your heat tool over the top and you can set that. And literally, just watch that now. Give that a lovely enamelled finish. And it does give that lovely glossy finish. Now, the first coat will always look orange peely kind of effect. So that, do you know, like an orange and the peel? This is the first layer of embossing powder. Now, I know Craig loves to double emboss, triple emboss. You can go on as long as you want until you get that lovely glossy-like finish.
Look at that.
But I just love the effect. You need to keep it hot. So before you need to be able to keep that hot and wet and sticky to be able to add the secondary bit down. So you can't, there's not much time to let that, leave that, because you want, in order to get the second bit down, you need to get that on while it's hot and sticky still, okay?
Yeah.
So again, let's just set that one. This is the second layer.
What's the optimum amount then?
I do about 3. I don't know if Craig does any more or Debs does any more, but I got to about 3.
Yeah.
You start to see the more glossier finish, the more layers. About the 3rd layer, I tend to stop. You can stop at 1. If you like the orange peel effect, you can stop at 1. I can see that's now got a lovely glossy finish. And again, I'm keeping the heat applied over that strip and then just going straight in, because I want it to be hot and sticky for the clear embossing powder. I don't want to re-ink it. There's no point re-inking it. You just want to get the embossing powder down as quick as you possibly can.
Yeah.
So again, and I can see that it's hot and sticky because it's stuck over there again.
Yeah.
So again, I'm just going to take that down.
And this would be the optimum 3rd layer.
Yeah, you can go a little bit more if you want to go a little bit more, Ben. There's no, no stopping you there. But this is what you call triple embossing. So that's 3rd time, and you get a more glossy finish.
Do you ever use an anti-static bag, says Carol, before
You can
inking
use an
and embossing?
anti-static, yeah, absolutely. Use an anti-static bag before if you want to do that. Don't do it over the ink, though. Your ink's wet.
Yeah.
You'll end up with a pink stripy embossing bag. For the side, you can do if you don't want to get anything on there. But oh, that looks absolutely stunning, from that
great.
orange peel effect to super glossified finish with a 3rd.
That looks incredible.
That looks so intense. So if you want to stamp with like you stamped sentiments and you want to give it a gloss finish, doesn't that look gorgeous?
It's like almost like a lip gloss.
Yeah, and I will show you, because I did keep one where I did a strip, but with 1 coating. So can you see the orange peel effect?
Oh, yes.
that is when it's had 3.
Right.
So you can see the difference, but the trick there to do that is you keep that heat applied over the top. The minute you remove the heat, you put the clear embossing powder over the top. If you don't, it will not stick.
Okay.
It will not stick. So that's a great one. But you can, of course, then build up with your stamps. And I just want to show you very quickly, because I've got other ink pads that I want to show you. This was using a flower stamp that I had and 3 different colours. But can you see where you can layer up? Because of the natural pigment, that's what you can achieve. And you don't have to dry off the stages. I could have had an enamel finish onto that. I could have done that, but it's just to show you how you can layer up colour. Can you see this colour coming over this petal? Hasn't lost the colour. So it's got that lovely build, so you can build up with those as well. And that's using our Opaque Pigment Inkpads, including the black over the top as well with my sentiment stamp. And then, of course, if you want to create a really superfied gloss, don't forget to add your embossing powder over the top. So I hope that was a little introduction into the world of our pigment ink pads.
Couple of quick questions. Can I heat emboss with the Duet, says Daisy?
Yes, you can.
What is the best cardstock to use for the different ink pads, says Michelle?
Water reactive, watercolour cardstock.
Yep.
Quick dry, any.
Yep.
I'll just say as it is, anything there. I've just realised I've got all bits all over there. I must have put some embossing powder on my table there. With the opaque, any again, you can do it onto a water-based card, so you get a different look on a watercolour card, because there's a bit of like a peel, like an orange peel kind of effect in its texture. But I prefer to use smooth cardstock with that one. Hybrid ink pads, watercolour again, watercolour cardstock. Your regular cardstock as well, white card, stamping card, multi-purpose card, that kind of thing. Yeah.
And one more question, and I think we're up to date. Debbie, would you recommend, asks Jen, using the stamping platform with quick dry all the time? Because I don't always get a clear stamp with a rocker block.
Yes. Yeah. Because I can have hit and miss results sometimes. It depends on how much pressure I can put down with my rocker block. Rocker blocks are brilliant, but I've been open and honest before, and I'm open and honest again. I have some dexterity problems sometimes. So for me, a stamping platform or the stencil stamping platform is one that I go to, because I know that if I've missed, I can go back in and use. So yeah, absolutely.
What do you want to show us? We're officially over time, but we can carry on. What else have we not seen yet?
Well, can I do the finesse just for a second? Because this is a good one to show, and I've got a stamp, haven't I? Let me grab my butterfly stamp. I'm going to give it a quick clean, but it's just the first thing that I've got to hand, and I just want to give it a little spritz. I'll talk about a Midas as well in a second, but I just want to give this a bit of a clean, because it's got like the quick dry ink on it, but it's got pink, and I want to show you a good result. Oh, I did have a butterfly. I've got one. I could have done it with that one, Debbie. What you like? In fact, sorry.
Is that the one you used earlier?
I've got another one. It's because I carry a lot of. Well, it may surprise you, but I carry lots of butterfly stamps around with me everywhere. I do. So I'm just going to put that on there to use for this one. Right, so let us grab some cardstock. Would you just grab me an alcohol pen, please, Ben?
Yeah.
Just for a second, just so I can show you.
What colour alcohol pen?
Any. It doesn't matter. A classic would do with the chisel nib. A nice bright one, just to show you. Let's get rid of that one.
Bright pink.
That down there. Bright pink will do. Yeah. That's fine.
Cerise.
Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you. Thank you very much. Right. Just going to put that down there. And I'm just going to use for the alcohol-based one. In fact, you know what I'm going to do first? I'm going to show you the difference between the two. So I'm going to put this one down first, which is the alcohol-based. Let's cover over. In fact, Debbie, just get that down. There we go. So just to put that on for a second, and I'm going to put that. So that's alcohol. Right, get this right, Debbie. Let me get that there. There we go. Alcohol-based proof. So alcohol pen's got your alcohol pen on. The waterproof one's got your paintbrush on. Now, when you drop this down, and I just want to do this very quickly, again, to show you a water-based medium over the top of it. So, not stamped very clear. Let's get that pushed right down. It would help if it were a lower counter, because I can't get my body weight behind it. That's a bit better.
That looks good.
And then when I spritz water, because obviously it's a great example to show you why anything water-based, like a water reactive, anything like an aqua pen, a tricolour aqua, a water blend pencil, so the aqua blend pencils, why you wouldn't use anything water-based with the alcohol proof, and I think it's shown you quite clearly why you do not use it.
Yeah.
What has happened?
Smudged. Leaked,
Smudged.
gone all over the place.
Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
So the minute you was to add like a water-based medium over an image you stamped with that, that's the result you're going to get.
Yeah.
The difference you're going to get now, and I'll just put that there to one side, and I'll just bring in, I wonder if I've got a smaller piece. Let's just see where my butterfly. Oh, it don't really matter, does it, if it's, in fact, actually, I've got plenty of watercolour cardstock. It's okay. Let's go in with that one. Pop that down. We'll just repeat that, but this time, and I'm just going to give that a nice quick clean because obviously it's got alcohol dye on there, proof dye, and I don't want it to smudge, so I'm just going to give that a nice quick clean. Let's clean the whole of that stamp because you can see, look at that.
Yeah.
Just for example, look, all that ink's on there. So if I was to do it again, it probably may have a little bit of the alcohol proof one on, so I'm just going to give it a good clean. Oh, stamp cleaning solution.
Yes,
is
that's
the one you want.
on the web.
Yeah, definitely get that to clean your stamp because it gets into all the nooks and crannies. I'm just trying to get up the excess, so, but it's just a visual again, just to show you now when we use the waterproof dye, and I'm going to cover the entirety of that stamp again. And then I'm going to come down onto there, and then I'm going to add my water, and then we're going to do a side-by-side comparison. It'll do.
Aha.
Anything happening?
No.
I've chucked tons of water on that as well. Can I just tell you? I have not, I have literally chucked a ton of water. I don't know if you can see that glistening in the, oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
There you go, there you go. Wait a minute. Oh, there you go, lots of water. What's happening?
Newt.
Nothing.
Oh, dear.
That is why Finesse waterproof and Finesse alcohol with anything water-based you wouldn't use.
Great demo, that.
It is always a good demo to show you because that is not moving. There's no smearing, and I'm rubbing my finger across that. Nothing's happening with that because it's permanent. It's stuck down there. So you use all your water-based medium with the waterproof dye. There are 4 colours. There's black, there's pebble, there's the brown, which is the top of my head, rustic brown, pebble, noir black, and twilight grey. Not twilight grey. Flagstone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah, that's a really good example of why you wouldn't do that. And then with the alcohol-proof one, so just again for argument's sake, just to show you, you wouldn't get any bleeding. Now I'm gonna have to be really careful with this because I've wet that platform through. But good examples to show you and the reasons why we have these ink pads in our collection, and I hope it's showing people exactly why you wouldn't use it. Now, I will tell you, when you've inked with the waterproof, it stains. Yeah. You can clean it. I can still clean it. You can see, look, it still needs cleaning. So it's still getting all that excess ink off. But again, let me just try and get majority off there so that I can stamp with that. Although I could switch butterflies now. In fact, I might do. So again, let me just come in and I think that's dry. Yeah, I'm hoping it is. Let me just pop that back down. I'm just going to get into the nooks and crannies of my stamp. Importance of cleaning your stamps. You know, I know me and Craig joke half the time that we leave our stamps dirty. I mean, I really wouldn't. I really wouldn't. But I'm going to go back in with the alcohol-based one. I'm not going to add any water to it this time, but I'm going to show you why, again, in terms of your smudge-free, smear-free, nothing moving, why you want the alcohol-proof one. And I'm just, oh no, that's watercolour cardstock. Debbie, where's my smooth cardstock gone, girl? Where's your smooth cardstock gone? Let's just bring in a rather large sheet. Let's put that down. There we go. Just going to quickly stamp an upside-down butterfly. But you get the gist.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
You get the gist. And again, I'm just going to don't matter. Don't matter if I've not pressed enough pressure, because it was just to show you when you fetched me that lovely pen, and I'm just going to take it. And I mean, I'm literally chucking a ton of that down.
Yeah.
Nothing's moving.
No.
Nothing's it's not bleeding out when you're using alcohol or alcohol-based pen over the top. Always a good one to show. And I'm trying to make it move.
Not very good at colouring in the lines, is she?
But yeah, that's why,
No.
and it's why we make it very crystal clear on the front. I don't want to know what's oil-based, what's this, what's that. I don't want to know that. I want to know what works with an alcohol pen, what works with a paintbrush, anything water-based. And I think I just proved that perfectly well in the terms of those two, as to why you would not be mixing up, and you certainly wouldn't get that result if I'd had stamped it in this over the top. It would have smeared. It would have, because it's not meant for that. It literally is not meant for that at all. So that's the reason why, and I hope that showed you a really good example of why the Finesse ink pads have a very valid place in our ink pads and why you need them. And it's not a gimmick. It's not a gimmick. It's why you need them to get those results.
Yeah, lots of love coming through. Love this card, Debbie, says PB Brewer Martin. Debbie, we know you love your butterflies, says Colleen. And Stephanie says, CC, thank you so much for bringing back these shows. I love them. Yep, tonight we've got the glue school, so that's coming up in, what, about an hour and 50. So any glue-related questions, get ready to ask those tonight. We'll be doing an hour on all of your glues, and then tomorrow a Gemini-related show. So anything to do with any of your machines, be them manual or electronic, you can let us know and we can get the questions ready for that. Tomorrow, what are we doing now? Finished, or we got something else to show?
Well, I've got Shimmer, I've got Midas. I love Midas. But which one do you want to see?
Should we just have a quick look at the Midas, shall we?
We can do, yeah. So I'm just bringing all the Shimmer. I haven't got the full range of the gold series for some reason. I can only see one. I can't see any. Oh, wait a minute.
I suppose actually.
Oh, there they are.
I suppose actually, just to put them side by side, because some people do get confused as to what's the difference between the Midas and the Shimmer. So a bit of a comparison would be good, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, why not?
Okay.
Yeah, let's just do that then. So again, let me just move all this out of the way. And the Duet, if I just tell you the difference between your Duet originals to your Duet colour bloom, is that there is two colours in the colour bloom that literally, with an explosion of water, colour separation. That's what it achieves. And the Shimmer colour bloom, Duet, talk about confusing, but that one has got a hint of a little bit of sparkle in there, which are beautiful. So it's still the two colours that with a bit of water.
But dry, isn't it? Again, with those, make sure that
make sure you dry in between anything that says Duet.
Yeah.
Anything that's a twosome, you literally dry out. So dry out after you've used it each stage, whether it be the originals, whether it be the colour bloom, whether it be the colour bloom with Shimmer. So I think I've covered those. Yeah. And what I haven't covered are the pearlescent pigment metallics, which is the original series, the gold series, and the Midas metallic pigments. So that's metallic pigment, that's pearlescent pigment. Pigment, again, is a natural pigment. It means you can, of course, layer up as well, but they are still water-based, just so you're aware. Not the same effect that you would get with the Duet or with the Water Reactive. You can still achieve some lovely looks, and you can still do stamping with them, blending with them, embossing with them. You can emboss with them. All of those things that I've shown you with the other ink pads, you can still do with these. You just get different looks. Midas, I mean, I'm just going to start with the Midas because they were the first in the series. Lots of different colours. I think silver's always a good one. Pop them onto a bit of black. Wow. Yeah. I mean, when I say wow, it's a wow factor. I've got a little stencil here, and I'm just going to pop that over. Grab a, let me grab a clean one though, because this is, and I'll grab one of my circular ones. And I'll probably put a couple of colours. Should we go silver? Yeah. Gold? Should we do silver gold?
Yeah.
Go on then. These, again, intensity of this colour is superb, and it is again that pigment, and again when it comes to a pigment you've got the soft squidgy sponge again in there, and it makes such a difference. Super sticky though. When you get them on your finger you can feel it. Open drying, a longer drying time, which means again you can add excuse me, clear embossing powder over them. I do prefer, I'm not gonna lie, just to play with them because they're so gorgeous. They really, really are. I absolutely adore our Midas.
There's not as many colours in the Midas.
No, there's not. No.
There's 6.
I want to say. I want to say 8. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Maybe 8.
Yeah. But again, you can blend with these as well. So I'm just using a stencil this time over the top, and I'm going to put a bit of silver down. Don't ask me where I got this stencil from. It's an old stencil. I can't remember. I apologise right now because I think it's one of ours.
Isn't it one from one of the sets where you get the... What size is that stencil?
It's a 6x6, I think, if I remember rightly.
I was thinking of then, no.
Yeah, I think it's a 6x6. Just moved my stencil there, but it doesn't matter.
9 colours in the Midas, apparently.
Thank you, thank you. I
Wanda.
thought it was around 8 and 9. I couldn't remember completely off the top of my head, but I remember we did some coloured ones as well as, as well as the like silver, gold, champagne, blush, platinum. Yeah, like a rose gold as well. But yeah, absolutely beautiful. And look at them on top of black cardstock. Now it is still wet, so be careful when you're using them. But oh my God, isn't that just beautiful?
Yeah.
And if we can do like a little bit of a front view there, you can see the shimmer. It's absolutely stunning. Look at that. That looks
brilliant.
like a moon
a
kind
moon.
of thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Absolutely beautiful. And if you do want to add your clear embossing, add it while it's wet, and then do the same that you'd see me do like with the other pigment ink pads. But aren't they just gorgeous?
Amazing.
And you can do things like, I've got a few examples just for a second, just to show you, because this is another little different things you can do with them.
Oh, wow.
Use it over embossing. And I've used a mixture of colours there. And just so you can see it, it does work on white. That's white, that's black, that I embossed with one of our embossings. Again, splodge technique.
Yeah.
Pop it down onto your mat and smooch it all up.
Yeah,
Look at all of the different...
love that.
And you can see... I do love doing that technique, but I also love stamping with them. You can stamp with them. That was with a coloured background, then a stencil over the top. And I think I've got some more. Oh my God, I do love the smudge technique, don't I? Look at me. Look at all the bits. These are the bits that I won't throw away because there's one day I'm going to use them.
Own, won't they?
One day I am going to use them, but just to show you all the things that you could do with it on black and white. Looks just equally as lovely with them. Stamp with them, spritz with them, all those kind of things. They are absolutely beautiful. And again, if you ever see them, grab them because I absolutely adore them. And in terms of the pearlescent pigment, all the things that you just saw me do there, in fact, let's grab, we've got a bit of paper. Let's have a little peek. What's that? I'll use that. I'll use the same stencil. It doesn't matter. And I'll just use a couple of colours. Let's go in with that frosty mint and the amethyst. Isn't it gorgeous, that? That's beautiful, that one. And I'm just going to bring in another clear pad. Let's go in with a... that one. There we go. And we'll go in and, again, pick that up. Again, it's sticky. But it's pearlescent. It's got this stunning effect to it. It is absolutely beautiful. You can blend with them as well, so you can blend a couple of colours together. I'll just do this little edge just here. We often refer to our pearlescent pigment ink pads as like a Centura pearl in an ink form because of the look that you get.
Yes.
So again, I'll just turn that round. I'll probably be able to get that purple out of that side. All of these do wash, by the way, but yeah, just so you can see that they do blend lovely together as well. And I'm just going to add a little bit more just down into this corner. Probably a bit. In fact, you know what I'll get? Fingered auber. Let's grab a fingered auber. Probably getting better into that one. Look, some crannies.
Crafty Angie just said, I love the show. I even forgot I have the Midas ink pads and I love them. I think if this show served as a reminder of what you've actually got in your crafty stash, you know, then so much the better, so you can get them out and have a play, because that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. Just have a little play. And just so you can see
Wow, yeah.
how lovely. Look at the pearlescent shine. That is also still wet. So in terms of using clear embossing powder, get it on there if you want an enamelled finish. I personally leave them. I don't add clear embossing powder because I love the shimmering effect. And the gold series, the only difference there, and I'm just going to quickly just pop that onto the cardstock, is that you will see gold running through there. Can you see the gold running through there? That shine is so intense. You can force that dry, so you can force it to dry by simply adding your heat tool over the top to dry, and I will do that just so you can see the intensity of that gorgeous gold that's running through there. And bearing in mind, I've just literally took the ink pad, gone straight to there because I'm fast aware that I've gone way over time. But thank you for allowing me to go and talk about all the different ink pads, because I am totally in love with all of our ink pads. Can you see? Look at there. Look at that. Look at that gold running through there.
Stunning.
Whereas that is more of pearlescent pigment there. So you can see the difference between the two. Ooh, I hope I covered as much as I could in the time that was given. I hope I covered all of those ink pad questions for you, and I hope you enjoy your ink pads because there's so many different things that you can do with them. Literally, just get them out and play with them and just enjoy them and do what I do. I save all my bits. What I've played with, I save them because die cut into them, use them as background, use them as strips, whatever it is that you want to use them for. There's always a place for something to create lovely backgrounds with as well. Lots of things from stamping to blending, to heat embossing, to water reactive. There's so many amazing ink pads, which is why, like I said to the lovely lady that I saw yesterday, I stand on business with our ink pads. They are the best in the business, and I should know that because I've used many over the years, and I can hand on heart tell you, our ink pads are something else. They're like a game changer. They're like a artist quality grade that you would find anywhere, the best in the world, and I absolutely love them. So thank you for entertaining me, showing you all the different ways you can use them.
There you go. And on that note, massive thank you to Debbie for a fantastic show. We will be doing it all over again in around about an hour and 40 minutes for Glue School. That is going to be a popular one as well, no doubt. So get your questions in nice and early for that one. Anything you want to ask about any of the glues that we've got within our range, feel free to fire those in and we'll take you through a nice little hour coming your way at 5 o'clock this evening. That is 12 p.m. Eastern, that is 9 a.m. Pacific. So lots to look forward to as far as that is concerned. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Big thank you to Debbie as well, and we will meet you back here in an hour and 40 minutes. Until then, thanks for watching and bye for now.